Vandalism. It's one of the most serious and fastest growing problems facing RTD today. We've all seen the residue, a torn seat, an exterior marred by graffiti, windows destroyed by scratches. But just how serious is the problem?
Basically, the vandalism and graffiti has been accelerating at an alarming rate. And the net effect is that it is vastly exceeding our ability and maintenance to keep up with it. As a result, we're finding that the fleet condition is deteriorating and that the interiors, especially of our buses, are largely being destroyed. Traditionally, we've spent about $100,000 a month fixing seats, replacing glass, and removing graffiti. The situation is so bad now that we're probably in the $600,000 to $700,000 a month damage. That doesn't mean that we're repairing at a rate to $600,000 to $700,000. I don't have the people to do that. I don't have the funds to do that.
Intimately familiar with the problem is RTD's anti-graffiti undercover police unit.
That are being hit, go through Huntington Park. Those calls might be in retaliation for us doing all those arrests over there, vandalism. I guess what the best way to do it, the miscellaneous we're getting from the drivers of all the graffiti areas. This is the easier way to find out where our active and inactive areas are. What I did was all your red pin maps here are all your active areas, and we're going from Southgate, we're going to downtown. Alhambra is our active areas right now. Our blue pin maps are areas where we're getting calls, but they go from day to day.
To the casual onlooker, all graffiti may appear to be illegible scribbling, but to the graffitist, there are several distinctions. The majority of the graffiti written on stationary objects, such as shops and buildings, is gang-related. Gangs mark their turf by writing their names on walls in the area. Another form of graffiti, known as tagging, is costing RTD millions of dollars in seat and window replacement and exterior refurbishment. In this case, the graffitist has designed his or her own special tag name. Rapid, Coke, and Mist are but a few of the adopted nicknames. The challenge is to mark a bus with your own personal tag name so that it will be seen across LA wherever the bus goes. For the tagger, this is status.
It's just the feeling of a bus taking your name through the city.
Back and forth.
Yeah, back and forth. That's just the fun part about it.
Yeah.
There's so many risks that we have to go through just to hit a bus, and it gets cleaned anyways. But
we don't care as long as it, travels
yeah.
And somebody sees it. That's fame.
Looks like they were gonna hit that bus that just went southbound.
Are they on Pacific right now?
Negative. I thought you had them inside in McDonald's.
Each day, the officers do an initial sweep, but they rely heavily on drivers' reports to locate the current hot areas.
All this is marked here when they're holding the back doors open and our hands are tight.
On my 3 o'clock trip, that's the heaviest, because I pick up a lot of school kids. And that's where it starts. They get in groups, and they do their messes and all this, and they get off the same way in groups.
The basic taggers, they all look alike, with the various maybe colors and styles of hats and stuff. They'll wear a ball cap. It could be from black, white, or blue, Raiders, Cowboys.
They're called crews. They're a bunch of guys, and they're going out and they're just vandalizing their buses. They're called crews. They use nicknames as NTS, which is next to serve.
Until we get out to different schools and make our presence known at different junior high schools, it's going to be almost impossible to stop.
The crews travel from bus stop to bus stop waiting for the right moment to strike. These crews are very streetwise. One of the major problems for the undercover squad is not being spotted. Once the car or the officers are known to the crews, their effectiveness decreases. This is known as a burn.
I knew it was the RTD police when you guys went like that because I seen him. I know him.
However, sooner or later, the taggers make their move. When busted for tagging, the juveniles will either be booked or cited to appear in court with their parents. Tagging can carry a maximum fine of $250 or 20 hours of community service. A shakedown of the area shows that the taggers store their tools above the bus shelters. Here you can see several types of markers, spray paint, and an etcher for carving tag names into windows.
Because I can see what my one team is doing. Giving an example, as of January 1 of this year, we cited over 50 juveniles, and we arrested over 25. Now, that's from January, that's just the first month of the year.
Tagging may seem like a harmless prank, but the fad is on the rise, and there isn't enough manpower to keep up with the current rate of vandalism. One trip to an RTD bus yard dramatically demonstrates the size of the problem. RTD officials are candid. They say they cannot combat this problem on their own. They need funds from Proposition A transit tax revenues to hire additional staff to do the refurbishing. They need help from school officials to assist undermanned transit police staff at problem school stops. They need help from the courts to increase the penalties given to offenders. The district believes its riders are entitled to first-class service, and the agency cannot deliver first-class service in a third-class vehicle. RTD officials pledge their efforts to refurbish the fleet to its original A1 status.